So we're looking at the square root function today, and we want to look at the transformations for this square root function. And we're going to look at the horizontal and vertical shifts, and then we'll also look at the vertical reflections across the x-axis. So if you look at the two functions, you got f of x, which is root x, you got g of x, which is root x right now. Each of these have their own vertex, and I'm going to kind of play with the vertex, which would be the h and k values here. If I grab and drag the h value and increase the h value to 3 or 4, what's happening here is the function's changing to x minus 4 because the original function would be root of x minus h plus k. So as I move and make h positive, the equation comes up looking like we have h being negative. But what that does is it really just shows that we're moving this 4 to the right on the graph. So we have a shift 4 to the right. Basically, you can look at that sign and do the exact opposite of it because of the original equation. If I move it to the left, then I'm going to have a positive 4 in the equation, but h is really negative 4, which means I have a shift 4 units to the left. If I then mess with the k value will be written out to the right, and when I mess with the k value and I add 1 to it or add 2 to it, you'll see that the equation has a plus 2 at the end. This is moving the graph up 2 because of the positive 2. And then if I move it downwards, I am subtracting 2 from the function, so I am moving it down 2. If I move the h value back to 0, you can see that the k value is really just the y-intercept on the base function, root of x. But if we have some sort of h value in there, then it's just representing up or down a certain amount of units. Now the a function, I think, is what gets a lot of people confused. The a function would be the leading coefficient. When I say a function, I mean the a variable. The a variable will be written out front of the root x. And when it's 1, it's obviously not written. When you change that to 2, now you have a leading coefficient of 2. And what that does is it causes I'm going to make k back to 0. It causes a vertical stretch. So as I increase this, my square root function stretches vertically. And if I change that to a negative value, it's still stretching vertically, but the negative value on the leading coefficient, this negative 5, is causing it to reflect from the positive side above x, the x-axis, to the negative side, which is below the x-axis. So we are reflecting across the x-axis.